start. Good evening, everybody. This is Butch Miller, and this will be the first issue broadcast episode of the first volume of Butch's List. Now, what that may be is any number of things. It could be a list of things that have pissed me off today. It could be a list of things that I found that are awesome. It could be something that I just want to talk about right now. For example, Tim Duncan retired. The greatest power forward that has ever played basketball. Doesn't matter what you write me, doesn't matter what you say, you're not going to change my mind. It is highly unlikely that we will ever have another one like Tim Duncan ever again. And if you think about it, he's played his entire career for 19 years under one coach in the NBA with one team. The odds of that ever happening again, it's not going to happen. So my first set of lists in honor of Mr. Duncan are going to be a recap of his career. Yeah, I know it's a couple days late, and I know that if you're here living in Cincinnati with me, you probably don't care. But if you're a basketball fan, there's no way that you couldn't care or respect the game that this guy has played over the last 1/5 of a century. Think about that. Remember when he was at Marquette, at all that time, 4 years at Marquette, 19 years in the NBA. You know, he is third on the list with regular season victories. He's only behind Robert Parrish and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The 5 championships, what do you have? 3 MVPs. He was 14th in points, 6th in rebounds, 5th in block shots. And he's only one of 4 players to rank in the top 15 in all 3 categories. The others are Kareem, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaq. Okay? Right there. You measure somebody by the company they keep. And the company in that ranking is illustrious to say the least. It's not any better. There's no company that you can keep better. He's second in postseason wins. In the postseason, 6th in points, 3rd in rebounds, and 1st in double-doubles in postseason history. 1st in double-doubles. He is only one of 3 players to win the Wooden Award, the NBA Rookie Award, the NBA MVP, the NBA Finals MVP, the NBA All-Star Game MVP. And who did he join in that club? Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. Again, measure them by the company that they keep. His company is, and you know what? The most seasons of a player with one franchise is only exceeded by Kobe Bryant. And then the next 2 behind him are John Stockton with the Jazz and Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks. And you know what? If you look at it like this, if you take NBA players who stayed the longest with the team, you have Kobe Bryant with the Lakers, then Tim Duncan, then John Stockton, then Dirk Nowitzki, then Karl Malone, then Reggie Miller. First 6 players that you took as with the team on the longest, unbeatable team. If those in the 18 years ago, 20 years ago, if those guys had all come together at the same time and they were to get on the same team, 20 NBA championships right there. In all 19 of Tim Duncan's seasons, they had a winning percentage of at least 600. That means they won 6 out of every 10 games. They had, with Tim Duncan, 1,072 regular season games. That's how many wins. Sorry, that's how many the wins they had since the start of 1997-98 season, if I remember that right, through his retirement. 1,072 regular season wins. That's 155 more wins closer than the next closest team. I really don't know what else to say. You'll never see anybody like him again. And don't talk this Kevin Garnett crap or anybody else that's in there right now. The big fundamental played basketball the way he wanted to play basketball, and he played it for the team and for the love of the game. And then 4 of those 5 titles that he won also included Parker and Ginobili. That trio, Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, had more victories than, would that have been Kareem, Magic, and Cooper? Is that right? Or Kareem, Magic, and Worthy, and more than Bird, Parrish, and McHale. So, if you never got a chance to see him play, smoothest dude out there. The turnaround little half hook off the glass, unstoppable. A team, a leader, a team player, an all-time great. And I have been a Spurs fan since he went to the Spurs. When I watched him in college, I've been a Spurs fan for 19 years. Told my son the other day, I don't know if I'm ever going to watch the NBA again. Unfortunately, it's over. I don't think there'll ever be another team player like Tim Duncan. And that's really all I got to say for this first episode about that. That was my list for tonight. The greatness of Tim Duncan was my list. Butch's list, the greatness of Tim Duncan. And really, I got to tell you, this is kind of a test thing. I got the idea to do this. Tammy thinks that instead of her hearing me talk all the time, because she probably had to go through this at least 4 times in her life to listen to the greatness of Tim Duncan, amongst the other things that she's had to listen to all along. So her suggestion to me was, why don't you talk to somebody who will listen? I guess by that she meant my phone, because I don't presume to have an audience, or I don't presume to be able to get one on somebody who just wants to listen to me talk. But having said that, I think that I played a little song there at the beginning. I didn't have my microphones on, or my headset on, so I know it only lasted like, I think it was 1 minute and 9 seconds. It's a little thing that I put together, a little song that I put together, because you got to have a license to use somebody else's music. What the hell, whatever. I just, instead of getting caught in that trap of using something without permission, do you have the right permission? I took my own permission. I wrote my own thing and put it together. So, but anyway, see how I ramble? That's what you get. That's what you have in store. A lot of rambling, and whichever way the wind points or the wind blows may be the way that I point to talk about that stuff during the day. This is really a test, so if you have questions you'd like me to answer, but let me trust me, buddy, sister, pal, friend, partner, whatever you guys want to call yourself. I've got an opinion on everything, and it's not just an off the wall opinion. I'm going to have to say I think it's a pretty well thought out, cogent, sometimes succinct, sometimes verbose opinion on just about everything. The only person that I think would have probably a better grasp on intelligent thinking that I know personally in my circles, ability to make a point, it's probably my brother. He's younger than me by 4 years, but the dude's pretty fucking smart. Oh, there was one. Tammy says I can't say those words when I talk, but you know what? It's my show. I'm going to say what I want to say. Just don't tell her about it if you know her, if you see her, if you talk to her. Don't, yeah. So, looking at the old clock on the wall here, it says I got 4 minutes and 25 seconds left. So, this is a 15-minute podcast on Spreaker Studio. There's a lot that I can do with this. I'm going to see about setting up a little place here in my office where I can also live stream at the same time, maybe Periscope or Facebook Live while I do this. Just bought a new Blue Yeti microphone. I may do it through the computer system I have set up right now. I don't know how this sounds, but right now it's just coming through the phone. So I'll listen back to it and see how it sounds. If you have suggestion for something to me, a suggestion for something for me to talk about, by all means, you can send it to Butch's List. That's BUTCHSLISTS, Butch's List at gmail.com. Or send it to Butch's List at Twitter. Sometimes those lists will not be what you may perceive immediately as coherent, but they make sense to me. And I think when something makes sense to you and you can explain it to other people in a way that it makes sense to you, but you can explain it in a way that they understand, then you're able to do something. So I'm going to play another little song here that I put together myself. It's I don't know, it's an electronic thing, and obviously there's no lyrics to it, but I named it Lunatic Syringe. So it's 1 minute and 46 seconds, and what I'll do is I'll allow that to take us out of here. Again, if I've annoyed you or wasted your time, then I guess maybe what I've got to say is not for you. But this is where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to decide if I'm going to do it in the podcast style or if I'm going to try and do it live. I don't know. I'll probably stick with what's easy first until I get it. So here you go. This is Lunatic Syringe. It's kind of crazy, but Tim Duncan forever. Best power forward that ever lived.